I've always been one for, if you're bloody sick, stay home if you can. I'll figure out my money in the next few weeks. I always do. I'll get through it. But a lot of people can't, don't dare get sick whenever you do.
My name is Mad Mumsy, and I've been driving the huge dump trucks in Australian open-cut mines for over 10 years now. I wish I had $1 for everyone who said to me, "How does a little thing like you drive those big trucks? You must be rich. Oh, how do I get a job doing that?" My mining friends are asked these questions all the time too. This is what started the Mad Mumsy journey, to share stories and tips from living a mining lifestyle and to let others know what it's really like. Not everyone is cut out to be a miner, but why not? What does it take to thrive and survive in this industry? Now let's dig in. Get it? Dig? Mining? Oh, it cracked me up.
Hello and welcome to a Mad Mumsy musing audio blog. I'm sitting in Mondonga as I say a few words about Sickies for contractors. These are more notes for myself to write an article for Shift Miner about it, and I thought it might be a good podcast episode as well. However, I'll see what I can do with my voice in post, in the editing. If not, I'll just record it again, so bear with me. So this is the second day I've been sitting in Mondonga and dying. Well, obviously not really, but that's how we feel. Started off with a cold, sore throat. The real miner came to visit me at the end of a sore throat episode where he'd been out at work and he was starting to come good. And I said, "Well, what are you even doing here? You shouldn't give it to me." But we hadn't seen each other for a couple of weeks, so he was pretty keen to say hello. And I was about to start work the next day. Over the coming days, I slowly started getting crook. I tried to positive think my way out of it, of course, which is how Mad Mumsy tries to roll. But I have to admit, I went down like a bag of shit. Well, whilst I was at work, I asked around to see if anyone had any throat lozenges. No one did. And there's something else I'm going to add into my bag now. I used to have strepsils, but they fell apart and fell out of the alfoil after a while. So, I can hardly fit another thing into my bag, but I might just squeeze in some of those. It's end of May as I record this, and it's that time of the year where people start getting crook, the weather changes, it's getting freezing up here. It's 18 degrees in Queensland. We always get cold at 18, but it's going to get a lot colder, and people going around, we've got all the local country shows coming up and stuff, and they get everyone together and we share the love and we share the flute and we share the colds. A lot of people say, "Oh," and there was a couple out at work. I'm like, "Oh, you don't sound too good, mate." So I'm blaming the real miner. But I could have got it from someone else, but I don't think they've been having the sore throat thing. So I've got a different one that I've added to the mix now after being at work for a couple of days, I guess. And that's what I wanted to talk about, is as a contractor, you don't get paid. If we don't go to work, we don't get paid. And so people just keep going out to work and they're crook. Sitting in their trucks or their machines, spreading spreading the germs, sneezing all over the steering wheel. And it seems I was the only one who had any Glen 20 in my bag. Since I was doing the crib stagger roll a couple of years ago, I started buying Glen 20 and putting it in my bag and spraying the cab of every single truck I get into. And I still do. However, the day I started getting crook, I went to get my Glen 20 out to get in a truck. And it would have been good for me to do it getting out of that truck because I was spreading my germs, sadly. Sorry, peeps. but it had fallen out of my bag. It was a new skinny one. It was cheaper and it was skinny, and it's gone. It disappeared, and I did call up that truck the next day and see if it was still in there, but alas, no. It disappeared over night shift. Oh, good score. Some sites supply Glen 20 to put in your bag. It's a great idea because it helps to stop the spread of germs. When I believe it was a bird flu, came out and everyone was getting a bit freaked out, or swine flu it might have been, swine flu, and we had the local doctor came out to site and said, yes, Glen 20 really does kill a shitload of germs. Of course, she didn't say it like that. So ever since then, I've had some in my bag. You know, spray the steering wheel and everything you're going to touch, the handles, the two-way, the AM/FM, your gear sticks and levers. Some people have wipes as well, like Glen 20 wipes. Well, it doesn't have to be Glen 20, but that's what I've been known and brainwashed in marketing to believe will kill the most. So it fell out of my bag, and anyway, it's hard to concentrate when you're thinking, oh, I feel like crap. But lucky on that last day I was at work, every machine I got into broke and was down for quite a while. So I think the angels were looking after me that day because I had lots of rests. And even right at the end of the day, I had to jump out of my truck and go and test the water cart. And I thought, oh, yeah, that'd be right. Why me? What about the other water cart drivers? Because I'd finally got a truck that was going. I was on an easy run and we only had an hour to go. But I went there, got in the water cart with the fitter, tried it out, and she was still broken and they had to hand it over to shift change. So I got the last hour off. So even that worked out perfectly. And then it was pretty much all downhill from there. I'm not telling you all of this for you to be sorry for me because, you know, by the time I release this, if I even do, as I say, it's notes for an article, but I will be better. And I'll be back having a beer watching the footy because it's weekend now. And last night my team played and I, to be honest, I would have rather gone to sleep. But I stayed up and watched it. And my neighbour come over. Usually we sit on our back steps and have a beer because we're on day shift. Have a couple of beers and then he toddles in and I usually go on my computer and do something before I too go to sleep. But last night I didn't even want a beer. And he knew I was crook then when I didn't want a beer. I was having a lemon cordial in a wine glass though. So I felt like I don't know. I was sick of, I'd had green tea, milk, normal tea, coffee, noodles. You know, it's when you get to that point, I just want something to make me feel better. So anyway, he came in, but he sat up by the door and I sat on my bed. He was miles away because they're quite big dongers. He didn't want my germs. And he took my pay slip in to hand in for me today because I'd already decided I wasn't going to work today either because I felt a shitload worse last night than I did the night before. So I was meant to have one day off, I thought, have a good sleep and rest, get some drugs into me, and be good to go, but no. The other thing I wanted to talk about is living in a mining town, or staying in a mining town for work. I decided to go, well, I didn't decide, I had to. Hang on, have a drink. A coffee, not a beer. Maybe by tonight. I told my neighbour I might be ready for one beer. You know, in the past I've thought about trying to drown things, you know. Whatever you've got, I'll just drown it. That might work for a day and then, no. And water and tea and honey is what you should be having. I'm trying. So yesterday morning I slept in. My alarm went off and I decided, I can't go to work. No way. I could hardly lift my head off the pillow. And so I messaged the boss and told him I wouldn't be in. And he kind of wondered if they half expect it. But then there's other people who are crook and they just keep going. I've never been one of those sort of people. But I did used to have sickies once upon a time as well. But anyway, So that was at 4:45, so in the morning. So I messaged them and thought, right, I'm going back to sleep. And I woke up about 9:30. Anyway, it was after the time the mess was open. And I thought, great, I've got no food, and I need to go out and get some drugs, some Panadol and the like, and some lozenges for this bloody throat. So I went up to the town centre here, putted up there in the trusty V8, and I went into the supermarket and wandered around and just bought a bit of food. I got some Wheat Bix and bananas and noodles and soft things, more milk, stuff like that. Oh, honey, yes, honey and noodles, 2-minute noodles, because in my donga all I've got is a kettle, so you can't get anything and microwave it or cook it. I've got a kettle that I brought out, and a fridge, that's it, and TV. And, that was the other thing. Yesterday morning, all the TV channels had gone off except for Channel 2, which I don't mind Channel 2. But I thought, I hope it comes back on for the footy later, because it was weekend. And it did, all came back. The other channels were back on about lunchtime, I noticed. So I go into the supermarket and I thought, yes, where's your lozenges? And I like the Vicks Vapor Drop ones. Soothes the throat and clears the nose, which is what I needed because, whoa, my nose was running like a tap. And that's what else I bought. Super king-size tissues. Thick and luxuriously soft. I thought, oh, yes, that'll be good. So I got those, and they didn't have any lozenges. I said, I beg your pardon? Oh, no, and the girl proceeded to explain to me that, they'd had a bit of run of them because people had been sick, recently. And I said, well, I've got news for you. There's more people sick now. So I said it nicely, of course. So there was no lozenges. So, and the only cold and flu tablets they had, one was don't operate, how do you say it? May cause drowsiness. Do not operate machinery. And I thought, well, that's no good because I was planning on going to work today and having them. So I thought, no, I better not get that. And the other one was Sudafed. And I know they'd be the opposite. Whee!
Now for a word from our sponsor. Welcome Julia Hartman and the Bantax Accounting Group to Team Mad Mumsy. Julia is my awesome accountant. She has written 2 books with financial expert Noel Whittaker and has a passion to help us miners make the most out of our hard-earned cash. Head to bantax.com.au/miners. That's BANTACS to download your free miners booklet and a spreadsheet that will help you calculate the weight of your tools you need for your job. Why, you ask? Well, you might be able to hitchhike a ride with them and claim your trips to work. Sounds confusing? Not at all. Just head over to bantax.com.au and let Julia and the team help you out. You will also find loads of free information and advice on property investing if you plan to really do some great things with your money. Again, that's bantax.com.au/miners and tell them Mad Mumsy sent you.
So they had no lozenges in the shop, and I asked if the chemist was open, knowing that it wasn't going to be. It was Saturday morning. Most chemists you'd think would be open. These weren't. I don't think they're open hardly at all anymore these days. A sad state of affairs. Small town going into ghost town, really. So, I don't know. Now what am I going to do? I know. I went and sat in the cafe and I had a cup of tea, and I didn't feel like anything that was on the menu, but I was a bit hungry because I didn't have tea the night before and I hadn't had breakfast yet, and this is about 10:30. So I had a pancake, thinking it was something soft at least, so I kind of enjoyed that. The ice cream was pretty good. And then I thought, well, I know the servos sell stuff, so I drove down to the service station and I needed a bit of fuel, so I topped up, or I wanted to top up with fuel, and there was a padlock on the Bowser. I thought, oh, they've ran out of premium again, or they're not getting it. I won't worry about it. And then I looked and went, hang on a minute, this bloody place is shut. And the service station was shut. And I walked over to the door and there was a sign on there that said, should be back by 2 p.m. today. Big bloody deal. So still no lozenges. Oh, what? I did buy some Nurofen, headache kind of tablets at the supermarket, but not cold and flu and no lozenges. So I went home and proceeded to just basically go in and out of consciousness all day. Like I say, the reason I'm doing all this is not woe is me. It is to talk about whether to go to work when you crook or whether to stay home. And, if you stay home and you're a contractor, you're not going to get paid. If you're permanent, you can have sickies, but people like to cash in their sickies if they're allowed to, so they don't want to give them up easily either. But I've always been one, if you're bloody sick, stay home if you can. I'll figure out my money in the next few weeks. I always do. I'll get through it. But a lot of people can't, don't dare get sick whenever you do. And this is only the start of the season, so we'll see what happens. And then there's the flu injection. Oh, I hate needles, so I don't have that. And too many people say that they get the flu when they have it, so that puts me off. Plus, a few on our crew had it, and they all had really sore arms. I thought, well, I don't want a sore arm either, so I won't get it. And as a contractor, I don't know if we even count on the all employees get it or not. So I'm giving myself one more day home, and I'll probably curl up and have another nana nap in a minute after talking to you. Yeah, I've still got 2 more days to go. So I'll go back and soldier on. At least that'll be another 2 days' pay. And I've got some more Glen 20, so I'll spray everything. And I really hope I'm better by... Well, I hope I'm a lot better by tonight so I can have a beer with my neighbour, but if I'm not, I'll have another cordial in my wine glass. There's been inquiries recently into contracting and the increased amount of contractors that the big mining companies are using. I've spoken about this before and I'll add links in the show notes. I made a submission to the inquiry. I wasn't brave enough to go out and actually say it publicly when the government came visiting our town. I probably would now, but that was a while ago and I was still a little bit shy. But one of the big things that you notice when you're a contractor as opposed to working permanent, and I have done both, is no sickies and no holidays. You can book holidays, but you're not going to get paid. And the funny thing is, some contracting companies, they get real pedantic about make sure you fill in the form and all of this. And we think, well, what's the big deal? We're not getting paid anyway. That's always been a big thing. And like, if you're sick, 2 days they want you to have a doctor's certificate. Pfft. Yeah, right. I've got a cold. It's going to go. It's going to take time and it's going to go. And it's weekend. The bloody chemist isn't even open. As if I can go to the doctor to get a certificate to say I was sick so that I can't get paid. I'm not going to pay out another $60 for that because no bulk billing anymore. And, so that won't be happening. Maybe if it was a 4-day event or something, but I've been to doctors before and they say, well, we can't backdate that you were sick 3 days ago. So, yeah, that's something else that pisses us contractors off. And no annual leave. like I say, so they want you to book in. I can understand they need to know because of numbers, and they don't want to be, they're supposed to be supplying a workforce to the mining company, and if every now and again half of that workforce aren't there, well, they need to know, or maybe open it up for overtimers to come in or something, I guess, if they're going to be short. I don't know. It's the little things, and it's also about like your clothes. We just got jackets and shirts, and my jacket was ripped when it arrived. What? So, but I'll give them this. I'm getting a new one sent to me straight away, apparently. So that's good. And I did ask if we can get jeans, because mine are all from my old permanent days, and they're starting to get a bit shabby. And they don't supply jeans, but they order jeans through them at their discounted price, and they'll take the cost out of over a few pays. So I thought, well, at least that's an option, but I want to be able to try them on, so I've got to follow up on that on break. I just wanted to say a few words about this, and as I say, these are notes for an article that I want to write, and I thought, what better than doing it while I'm down in this hole thinking about it. And even though my donga's quite nice, I don't mean my donga's hole, I mean the sickness hole. And it's why another reason why permanent jobs are like gold these days, and let's hope that one day that comes back, because we all need to have holidays, we need to have sick days, and we need clothes. Okay, I'll shut up now, and stay safe, be real, be special, and have fun. For we only live once, and make the most of every day, especially the ones where you're feeling healthy. Cheers.
Be sure to subscribe in your favourite podcast app so that you never miss an episode. Or you can always listen on the website as well. Just head to madmumsy.com/beers, and please share with your mates.